Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're diving into the ultimate invisible network. I'm talking about the automatic, decentralized engine that literally runs a capitalist economy. Think about it. It's a massive, crazy puzzle of human coordination. We're talking about getting millions of products onto the exact right shelves at the exact right time, completely without some central boss calling all the shots. To figure out how on earth that works, we really need to understand the unseen forces shaping our daily lives. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Price mechanism explained. 2. What to produce. 3. How to produce. 4. For whom to produce. 5. The socialist alternative. And 6. The mixed economy solution. Let's just jump right in. Starting with Section 1, Price mechanism explained. To understand how millions of daily decisions get coordinated so smoothly, we first have to meet the detective solving this giant economic mystery. Okay, so the price mechanism. It's not some giant physical machine humming away in a basement somewhere. It's actually a decentralized signaling system. Think of prices like flashing traffic lights stretching across a vast network. They're constantly and automatically directing the activities of producers, consumers, and resource suppliers. Instead of total chaos, this incredibly elegant device systematically organizes a free enterprise economy. It lets everyone act completely on their own, yet the whole shebang functions automatically without anyone consciously managing a thing. The sheer genius of this system is captured in this fascinating paradox famously coined by Adam Smith as the invisible hand. Basically, a system driven entirely by personal profit motives actually works efficiently to promote social welfare. Consumers get exactly what they want, and producers make a living. It's this beautiful, almost accidental alignment of self-interest and societal needs. Moving on to Section 2, What to produce. So how does this invisible hand actually work in the real world? Let's explore how the price mechanism tackles the first major mystery, deciding exactly what goods get made in the first place. Picture this. You're in a bustling marketplace, and shoppers are just rushing to buy the latest trendy item. Store shelves are emptying out in minutes, and prices instantly spike. Well, this is consumer sovereignty in action. In a capitalist economy, you, the consumer, are literally the king. Where you choose to spend your money, your everyday spending habits, dictates exactly what factory owners are going to produce. You are basically casting dollar votes for what you want to exist in the world. Let's break down the exact steps of this chain reaction, because it happens fast. Step 1, consumer demand increases. Step 2, boom, those prices spike. Step 3, and this is absolutely crucial, the profit motive is triggered. That high demand flashes a giant green light in the form of higher prices. And finally, Step 4, producers instantly pivot to supply way more of that specific item. If demand had dropped instead, prices fall, profits shrink, and producers immediately scale back. It's a totally automatic feedback loop, solving the what to produce problem in real time. All right, Section 3, How to produce. Once we know exactly what consumers want us to make, our second economic puzzle is figuring out the most efficient way to actually get it made. You see, a factory owner always has choices. Picture an owner sitting at a desk, vigorously crunching numbers on a calculator, directly comparing two things, worker wages versus machine rental costs. If labor is relatively cheap in their area, they're going to choose a labor-intensive technique, meaning they'll hire more workers and use fewer machines. But if renting high-tech machinery ends up being cheaper than paying wages, that calculator is going to point them straight toward a capital-intensive technique, favoring machines over humans. And why are they obsessing so much over these input prices? Why the frantic number crunching? It's for this one magic number right here, maximum profits. By letting the competitive forces of input prices guide their decisions, producers combine resources in the absolute least costly, most efficient way possible. Competition practically forces all producers to minimize their costs, which means society's scarce resources aren't being wasted. Which brings us to Section 4, For whom to produce. Okay, so the trendy goods have been efficiently produced. Now we hit the final stage of our capitalist problem-solving arc. This is a massive question for any society, right? Who actually gets to enjoy the fruits of all this labor? Well, in a capitalist system, the answer is remarkably straightforward, though sometimes a bit harsh. It is strictly tied to how much income a person possesses. It all boils down to your paycheck, or what we call factor incomes. You provide labor, you get wages. You own land, you get rent. Supply capital, and you earn interest. Run an enterprise, and you take home profits. Crucially, The size of that paycheck is determined in the market by good old supply and demand. If your specific skills are in really high demand but short supply, your wages, and therefore your purchasing power, go right up. The big takeaway here is that in capitalism, production and distribution are just two sides of the same coin. The price mechanism automatically links the creation of goods directly to the distribution of wealth. People get paid according to their direct economic contribution to the output produced. So if you contribute highly valued resources to the market, you earn a higher income, and therefore you get to buy more of the newly produced goods. Simple as that. All right, let's flip the script. Section 5, the socialist alternative. We've seen the unplanned, invisible hand of the capitalist price mechanism at work, so let's examine a completely different approach. In a socialist economy, there is no automatic price mechanism flashing signals everywhere. No invisible hand here. Instead, you've got a central planning authority, like a planning commission or a ministry, stepping in. The government owns all the productive resources. They directly estimate the available economic and human resources, and then they evaluate national priorities to actively, manually solve the what, how, and for whom problems, rather than leaving it to the chaos of consumer markets. And what about distribution? Well, their whole philosophy shifts to this famous idea, from each according to his capacity and to each according to his work. Under this system, people generally only earn income in the form of wages, and those wages are deliberately set by the government based on the quantity and quality of your work. There are no wildly fluctuating factor markets setting your paycheck. The goal is to drastically reduce income inequality and ensure prices for basic consumer items are fixed, so absolutely everyone has adequate access. Finally, Section 6, the mixed economy solution. We've just looked at two pretty big extremes. Now, let's look at the third major economic framework. This is basically trying to get the best of both worlds. In a mixed economy, which by the way most modern nations use to some degree, private and public sectors coexist side by side. Profit-driven private firms operate efficiently under those automatic price signals we talked about earlier. They follow consumer sovereignty, chasing those profits. But at the exact same time, the public sector steps in to develop infrastructure, provide national defense, and use planning policies to ensure that basic necessities are available to everyone, catching the people who might be left behind by pure market forces alone. Let's pull back for a second and look at the whole picture. It's a fascinating reality. Whether a society is relying on the automatic price signals of capitalism chasing consumer demand, the deliberate, centralized planning of socialism focusing on national priorities, or the dual, balanced approach of a mixed economy, every single society on Earth has to solve these three fundamental questions. They absolutely have to decide what to produce, how to make it efficiently, and who gets to take it home. So here's a massive puzzle to consider as you go about your day and walk past the bustling marketplaces around you. As our global resources become even more scarce and our societies just keep getting more complex, which system is actually going to be better equipped to solve our future economic mysteries? Are we going to lean harder into the invisible hand, or will we rely more on the visible hand of central planning? It's definitely something to chew on every time you look at a price tag. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep exploring the fascinating systems that shape our world.